So October has been a crazy month for me in terms of my real estate portfolio. For those of you who are new, I basically bought 80 units of real estate in 8 months. So timeline wise, I bought my 26 unit apartment complex in August of 2021. 3 months later, in November of 2021, I bought my mobile home park. And then in May of 2022, I bought my 20 unit apartment complex. So I scaled rapidly, very fast, and bought 80 units in 8 months. And all three of the deals were heavy value add projects. All of them required renovations, right? My 26 unit, I renovate all the units. My mobile home park, I renovate a lot of the units. And my 20 unit, I renovate most of the units as well. So, obviously it's very busy, very stressful. I probably renovated about 50 units in a year. So went from zero experience in renovation all the way to like a high level experienced renovator. Obviously I made a lot of mistakes, but I really learned a lot, and I leveraged my property managers and my general contractors to give me the guidance, and I put a lot of trust into them, shared my vision that I wanted this to be modern looking, durable, cost effective, and tenant proof, right? If you have those four things, you can't go wrong, right? So what does that look like? That's kind of like LVP flooring. It's cheap to install, it's durable, it's waterproof, scratch resistant, easy to replace, easy to install. For flooring, I just do like white or light gray, very neutral, very simple. Kitchen, if we can keep the kitchen cabinets, we touch them up, sand them down, clean it, sand it down, repaint it, add some handles, make it look modern. Countertops, Oklahoma's big on laminate countertops. You don't need to do quartz or granite. Laminate is sufficient for C-class apartments in Oklahoma. If we had to replace the kitchen, we got the Home Depot shaker cabinets. And for the bathroom, we just got vanities from Home Depot, the bathtub kits from Home Depot. So it was pretty inexpensive. Like I kind of averaged about maybe 10 to 15,000 per unit in Oklahoma. The mobile homes, we had to renovate those as well. But pretty much, during this whole time, I bought a bunch of real estate at the same time, and all the real estate finished at the same time, right? So literally in middle of October, right now I'm filming this early November, middle October, I literally finished all renovations on my 26 unit apartment complex, and they're now all 100% rented out, believe it or not. Like literally in, I think August, I had about, I think 6 vacant units, but like 4 of the 6 were just finished and we're renting them out. So my property managers leased out like 4 in like 1 month, and then the last 2 units need some renovation, and those are finished and those are rented out too. So literally, I went from like about 14,000 in gross rent all the way up to 18,000 in gross rent just for my 26 unit. And keep in mind my loan for my 26 unit, because I got a good interest rate, 2021 to 4%. My loan is $1,900, and now I'm grossing 18,000. Right? So if you kind of do some quick math here, you take 18,000, you do 50% expense ratio, that's 9,000 in rents, minus about 2,000 for my loan, so that's $7,000 a month in positive cash flow, right? That's almost my W-2 income just off one property, right? So when you own just one deal can change your life, right? Like my 26 unit is a home run. My mobile home park wasn't a home run. I sold it for a loss. I'll make a video about that, but basically high level, I was working with a property management company who was also a consultant who also sold me the deal. But pretty much, I have an on-site property manager, and then I have an off-site property manager who's the consultant I was working with. They manage 70 parks. They kind of oversold me the property a little bit. I didn't have enough capital to finish the deal, and the tenant base was too high. The crime was a little bit too high than I would like, and you're dealing with a lower end tenant, so I had a park owned home model, so I was owning the park owned homes. I'd rent it out, but the tenant would stay there for like 3 months, and then like trash the unit, not pay rent, and then now I have to renovate those units again, right? So I just thought, I didn't like the area, I didn't like the demographics. You can't fix a location, so I decided to sell it. And what's crazy is I wanted to sell this in January of 2022. So after owning it for a little bit over a year, I bought it in November 2021. So January 2022, it's been about a little over a year, and I actually had it under contract, and it was supposed to close in 90 days. 90 days hit. The guy's like, I want 3 more months. And I gave him 3 more, or 1 more month. I gave him 1 more month, and he asked for another month, then another month, right? So this was extended all the way till July, so 6 month window. And on the day of closing, this guy flakes out, doesn't do anything. I mailed, signed, and notarized, and mailed the documents like an idiot, and he flaked on me last minute. Um, Very discouraging, and that happened in June. And I just said, well, I'm taking the earnest money deposit, and I am putting it back on the market, right? So at this point, if that I've actually closed with that buyer, I would have made about $300,000 on the deal. But he just couldn't raise the money, and he just couldn't raise the money. He wouldn't communicate, so it was a bad buyer, right? You can't make a good deal with a bad buyer. So lesson learned for me. So next, my consultant, because they manage 70 mobile home parks, they have other owners, other buyers, and they said, oh, we have 2 owners that might want to buy your park, but they're going to kind of lowball you, right? So they basically wanted to give me 1.55, and the prior owner that fell through, I got 1.9. So at 1.9, I was going to make about 300,000. So you can kind of do the backwards math. I was all in for 1.6. So if I sold this for 1.55, then I'm going to lose about 50K in the deal. And I have to do a seller carry second, right, to reduce their down payment. So I have some of my money trapped in the deal. I'm getting interest rate on that, and over time, that's going to pay me back that $50,000 I left. So in a way, it's kind of net zero, but my money's trapped, and I broke even, right? Like, for all that work and headache and stress, I broke even. But it's crazy. I just sold it in mid-October, and there's a lot of issues of this new buyer as well. He had a partner backed out. They had to bring in another on like the day of closing as well, and they had to bring in another partner. And fortunately, ironically, his name was Chad, but he ended up, like all good Giga Chads do. He ended up actually was serious, and then he actually closed the deal, wanted to partner the guy, and I was able to close it. So I went from literally, oh shoot, buyers in the back out, to new partner, to closing on the deal like a week later, right? So I sold my mobile home park. I was losing $10,000 a month on that deal. A lot of operation costs when mobile home park. 55 acres. You got to mow the grass. You need security because it's a high crime area. You have an on-site property manager. You have a part-time maintenance guy who's also the lawn mowing guy. You have water bill. You have the light bill. There's a lot of lights in 55 acres. You got to trim the trees. So there's just a lot of like baseline cost. So it was kind of killing me, right? Like I was only getting like $8,000 in like gross rents, and literally my expense would be like 18,000, right? For everything. So I was losing $10,000 a month, and then so it was very stressful, right? So when I sold it, I felt like I just went from like losing $10,000 a month to zero, to like just not losing money, and in a weird way, it's like as if I made $10,000 a month, right? Because before I was bleeding $10,000 a month, now I'm just like not bleeding. So in mid-October, think about it, my 26 units making me $7,000 a month, and now I'm not bleeding $10,000 a month. So that's a $17,000 swing, right? And then on top of that, my 20 unit, the same thing, right? The hard money loan was being called due. Just finished renovating the unit. My property manager pulled a miracle, and we basically got that unit from like 13 all the way up to like 18 out of 20. So they rented out 5 units really fast. So that we can increase the occupancy to do the cash out refinance with Bank of the West, and that process took 3 months as well, right? And I closed on that in I think end of July, and fast forward to October, my occupancy was good in July, but I had to evict 2 tenants because they were doing Sharpie art all over the walls, and after I evicted them, my occupancy dropped. And then I rented them out. So in mid-October, 19 out of 20 are now rented out. So literally in like 2 weeks in mid-October, I'm 100% occupied on my 26 unit. All 26 units are rented out, cash flowing $7,000. I just sold my mobile home park. So I go from losing $10,000 a month to breaking even, and now my 20 unit is like 19 out of 20 occupied, right? So that one's getting like $9,500 a month. That one probably cash flows around maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a month. Depending on that month, because you kind of do the math, right? You get let's say 10,000 for simplicity. Half goes to expense, so you have 5,000 net, and then my loan's about 2,600. So roughly I'm cash flowing around like $2,000, right? So you kind of add up that math. That's 7,000. I'm not bleeding anymore, and then 2,000. So I'm cash flowing $9,000 a month. So technically, that's how much I make right now in my day job, right? I did all this while working full time still, right? I'm taking about $9,000 a month. So literally, I went through all this stress, all this headache, blood, sweat, and tears, sleepless nights for the past 2 years. Stressed myself out, stressed my girlfriend out, and had to learn how to lower my stress, had to deal with hardship, setbacks. Like every day, I felt like I was getting punched, but like literally, just like that, I went from like bleeding money, scared, afraid I was gonna go bankrupt, to like now I'm cash flowing $9,000 a month, right? And I got my seed money from doing huge cash out refinance on my single family home. So now my single family homes are negative $3,000 a month in cash flow, but now I generate $9,000 a month in cash flow. So if you take the cash flow to pay off my single family homes, the debt that I'm negative, I'm still ahead $6,000, right? So that's a pretty decent amount of money, like $6,000 take home tax free. And that's enough for me to like retire if I want to at 33. I'm 33. My goal was 20K a month net by 35. So it was a little bit ambitious, but hey, I hit about 6,000 by 33, and I probably don't need $20,000 a month, right? So I hit financial freedom, and when I hit it, I was just like, it doesn't feel as good as I thought. Like it literally was like so drastic. Like I went from like, oh shoot, I'm going bankrupt, I'm losing money, I feel poor, I feel broke, to all of a sudden in like 2 weeks, boom, make $9,000 a month, I'm financially free. So I think I haven't like processed like what's going on, like because for the past like 2 years I've been putting money into renovations. Things were costing more, taking longer. Bad property management for my mobile home park. Delays in selling my mobile home park, which was costing me money. So like I just felt like I was just losing. I was taking lines of credits to continue funding renovations, to fund my mobile home park. So I was just super stressed, right? But now I just hit like financial freedom. Doesn't feel as good as I thought it would. But as I look back in the journey, and just all the hardship that I've overcome, all the stress that I've dealt with, that feels more rewarding to me. Like the fact that I could deal with those problems, the fact that I could like survive, the fact that I could, just take the punches and roll with it and survive every day. That was very like motivational for me. So for me, I'm more proud of like all the hardship that I overcame versus the actual end result of financial freedom. Like, and now I kind of get it. Now when they say that, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. Don't worry about the end result, because the end result is either going to be not as good as you expect it or not as bad as you expect it. So what I also hear in all the podcasts is when you achieve a goal, the high is not as high as you expect. And then when you go through a hardship, when you look back, it doesn't seem as bad in retrospect, right? But in the moment, it does feel terrible. But a quote that really got me through this time was, if a problem is so bad that it kills you, then you're dead. You have to deal with it. If the problem doesn't kill you, then you survived. And that means that the problem's not as bad as you think, because you survived. So what that kind of got me in the mindset of just survive day by day, right? But what do I need to do today to make my real estate portfolio good, right? Like what problem do I need to troubleshoot today to solve this problem? And I try not to think too far. Like what do I need to do today to rest myself? Like do I need to make sure I get good sleep, exercise, relax, don't overexert myself? Like I was trying to optimize everything as much as possible. So I definitely look back and just saw how much I grew as a person, as an investor, and just being able to achieve that goal. And I'm more proud of that than the actual end result of $9,000 a month. And now I'm kind of stuck at that quandary where I still work at W2. Obviously I was able to renovate 2 apartments and sell a mobile home park while working full time. And now it's easy, it's passive now, right? Like at this point, I just collect checks every month. Like this is the first month, like in November, I'm actually gonna make money, right? Because all the units are rented out. The expenses should be low because I renovate all the units. All the capex issues are taken care of. I mean, things will break, things will happen as they go, right? But I have so much cash flow now that it should cover that cost. So I'm not coming out of pocket, right? So definitely want to soak in this moment and will definitely create an update video to see what it's like. But right now, haven't really processed it. Financial freedom. Um, my lifestyle is probably not going to change. I'm probably still going to work, right? I'm not going to just leave the job. If I truly am making $9,000 a month, I want to, pay off some of my obligations, right? I have a line of credit I need to pay off. I want to buy a primary residence for me to live in Southern California. I want to, pay off my whole life insurance. I max fund life insurance as an investment, and that's an obligation, but I want to take the cash flow and just pay that off. And then, it's a great time. Interest rates are high, so it's not a great time to buy right now, unless you do creative financing. But, just kind of want to, pause a little bit, be stagnant, and reevaluate what I want to do, right? I had a season of growth, a season of exponential growth, and now I'm in a season of reflection and slowing down. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with reflecting, slowing down, and doing a reevaluation. So it's been a crazy journey, and want to kind of share my mindset around the process because I wish someone shared it with me. I have mentors, but they never really shared it with me. They just kept on telling me to go, go, go. And the key message I want to hit is, growth feels very stagnant for a long time, then it's exponential. Like I felt like I was like this, and all of a sudden in October, for 2 years, I was a flat line, and I felt like I was going down. Like I was like flat line going down, and all of a sudden I just went straight up once October hit of 2023. So just know that keep on putting in the work, and you may not see the results until 9 to 12 months later, right? Despite going through the grind, put in the work, do what's needed, chug on, do your best to go through the lows and just survive, get through it, and all of a sudden you'll have this hockey stick exponential growth, and you'll look back and be like, wow, that was definitely worth it, and it sets me up for the rest of my life, because now I basically double my income. If I continue to work, I make $9,000, my real estate pays me $9,000, that's $18,000 a month. I can do a lot of damage, right? I can lifestyle inflate if I want to, or I could save a lot of money and invest and pay off some of my expenses and buy a house for me, right? So, that's the point of real estate, is to live your life on your terms and to do what you want, right? So hopefully you found this video insightful. Hopefully you've got to see what it's like for somebody who hit, financial freedom and still trying to process it still. But, please share this video to someone who needs it, and please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much.